Well, here we are at the world center, the mecca of motorsports, Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 6. Live here on V-Speed, it is the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me, as always, is we have Alex Gagnon. I almost said Matt Gagnon. We have Matt Gagnon over on the other channel right now. We have two Gagnons working up here. So, Alex, you've been with me for the first 5 races. You weren't even projected to be here. Now you're stuck. You're here at home. What is in store for us tonight?
Yeah, now after doing one fill-in, it's become a season-long gig, and I'm happy for it. But, you know, racing at Charlotte is it's some of the best mile-and-a-half racing you can get anywhere. Multiple lanes you can run through the corners, a lot of action through that quad oval. I think we're going to see a lot of beating and banging tonight, and I think we're going to see a really, really entertaining race.
Points up on your screen. Gabriel Ellison has pulled out a 13-point lead. Michael Sturgill, who had the lead to start this season, has fallen back to 7th, but he is making an appearance here tonight at Charlotte. And as I get my virtual camera set up so my co-commentator can see what's going on, we got to take a quick look at your race analysis here. 90 laps, 45 mile per hour pit road speed limit, stage end at lap 45, and as always, we have our 2 green-white checkers, 100% fuel in the iRacing Fix setup. The real standout here in this analysis to me, Alex, is going to be the 3 tire sets available. We know this place is abrasive, and it can cause yellows midway through the race. You probably would want to shoot to pit, but if you can even make it to lap 50, you know, it might be a little bit short on fuel. They might have to use 2 tire sets, and if we get a late caution, there goes your 3rd one.
Yeah, and that's how quickly things can fall apart tire-wise here. So you got to really be careful. You got to manage them the best you can tonight. And this series, we've had 3 or 4 races already. I think 3 different races where there has not been a caution. So I think a lot of these drivers are expecting long green flag runs tonight, which makes tire saving all the more important.
Track map there, 24 degrees of banking at this 1.5 mile oval, and opened back June 15th, 1960. in Concord, North Carolina. And finally, we'll take a look at the schedule just before we hit the grid. We've got Michigan next week in Richmond, and that should be a good show as well. But we're here under the lights tonight in North Carolina. We'll have some more night racing as the season progresses. Then you have your 5-race chase starting at Phoenix and ending at Homestead, December 17th. But let's take it trackside now. Get the grid coming up on your screen. Starting on the pole, making his appearance back here, it's Michael Sturgill in 29.393. Tis outside Sheldon Atkins in the number 81. Michael Mullins and Casey Carrington will be row number 2, and then row number 3 goes to Stan Carnathan, Josh Dillon in 6th. Josh Taylor will start 7th with Daniel Giroux in 8th, and rounding out your top 10 is Michael Garone and Curtis White.
Back in 11th is Joseph Plogger, and then Gabe Ellison alongside him. Row 7 will be Craig Martin in the 22, Thomas Stokes in the 11. Row 8, Max Steck, Jose Ruiz. Row 9, Tim Bruce and Jeff No, with row 10 being Nathan Rogie and Kyle Shelton.
3 more cars to talk about, Dylan Rosenberg and Clinton Sneed. Rounding out your field is the 15 of Chris Waddle. So here we go for race number 6, Charlotte, USA. Green flag is out, and we're live and racing. Already seen a challenge for the lead there. Casey Carrington took it 3 wide into turn 1. He almost got the lead right there coming out of turn 4, but had to break up the momentum. It's a little difficult to pass on the exit.
Yeah, it really is. Things narrow out in a hurry. That being said, Carrington still right on the back bumper of Sturgill. Plenty of time for him to try and set up and make a move. These two drivers, definitely cars we've seen up front all season long. They're going to be putting on an early duel here under the lights. Sturgill going to lead him in down on the apron. Carrington goes way up toward that outside wall, trying to get a run off that high side. Here they go down the back straightaway.
And a change for the lead already on lap number 3. Sturgill drops back there on position, and Michael Mullins be the next one in line if he can catch up. We have seen kind of a fluctuation of drivers that are up towards the front steadily, but there's been kind of a consistency here. Casey Carrington's been one of those drivers that's been up front every single race that we've been to if he doesn't have problems. Michael Sturgill, when he shows up, he's up front for a lot of this. But Gabe Ellison, he's kind of the guy that lurks back here, maybe in the mid-pack, maybe in the 5th or 6th position, but he's always quiet until about, I don't know, 10, 15 laps left to pit, and he'll just surge to the front.
Yeah, he does a really good job extending runs longer than a lot of other cars in the field. Already up 7 positions from where he qualified to 27. Maybe taking a bit of a different approach tonight. An early charge to the front has got him in position here to try and take away P4 from Josh Dillon.
All over the back bumper of Josh Dillon now, looking off the back end of the number 12. And a driver that's kind of impressed me overall, we were taking a quick look at the points. Clinton Sneed, you know, with all the qualifying efforts that he's put in here behind the top 15, he's somehow salvaged the day at every track that we've went to. Even if he's gotten caught up in things, we've seen him have problems a couple of times where he would get sent to the back with, you know, maybe a mistake on pit road or a caution coming out. And so for the 49 to be 7th in points coming in here to tonight, that speaks volumes about how dedicated he sticks to these races.
It also says a lot, I think, that imagine, you know, he's 7th in points now, but if he didn't have to spend the early part of the race trying to work his way through the field from a bad qualifying position, just how much into that, you know, front pack conversation could the 49 be? He's clearly got some speed to get up and get past a number of cars. If he started up there to begin with, he could be a real danger week in, week out. You see him battling right now with the 411, jumping back up toward the front on board with Sheldon Atkins in the 81. He is battling for 8th, 9th, and 10th right now. Daniel Giroux just ahead of him, Joseph Plogger just behind him.
So Atkins, who showed some glimmers of greatness there in the middle of Rockingham, coming off of kind of a disappointing race though overall, had some problems down pit road, and it was another one of those races where things got unexpected. You know, we probably didn't expect to go caution free for 3 races in a row, and then we kind of surged in that caution average last week. That race went the longest of any that we've done. They usually take about an hour to wrap up here in the Sim Racer Hub Challenge Series, but last week it was a little bit different. It was an hour 45, and you know, if you're used to racing something like an hour and you stretch it out to 45 minutes longer, it can really wear down mentally on a driver.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of these drivers, I'm sure, are accustomed to running some longer races as well outside of the Sim Racer Hub Challenge Series. But when you get so used to a rhythm of these being real sprints of races with how clean the racing has been, any sort of additional time can really start to stretch not only the physical but mental limits of what's going on behind the wheel. Well, so far it has been clean and green through the opening 10 laps of this race. Casey Carrington still leads by 0.3 of a second. And then the battle for third picking up here with Mullins, Ellison, and Josh Taylor all in this picture as well. Gabe Ellison up 8 spots, looking to make it 9 if he can get around the 24 Delta machine.
Continuing on here, single file on lap number 11. Biggest positions gained. It goes to the 27. He's up 8 spots. A lot of spots lost here for this 81. He's going to actually have the 9 of Plogger to the outside on the exit of turn 4. So Plogger is up 2, looking to make it 3. There he goes.
Nice little move on the outside there for the Aspiration Homes number 9. Plogger going to roll that middle lane. Has not cleared Adkins yet, but probably will down the back straightaway here with the unimpeded exit. Gets right on to the back bumper of Stan Carnathan in the 82. However, not able to clear the 81. Adkins going to battle back on the inside. He's not done yet, trying to hold on to that P8 spot, and they'll still be side by side across the stripe. Nice little scrap here for the 8th position on track in the early going. Couple of drivers who are looking for a good finish here tonight, trying to keep themselves in the top 10 early.
We saw back in the background there, Giroux got passed by Thomas Stokes in the 11. Giroux stuck on the outside, so up 3 here for Stokes, down 4 for Giroux. Curtis White down 3 as well in the 63 machine. But no need to panic yet. We're not at even at the halfway point in this race. There's still a lot of racing left to be done. I guess if you're in panic mode, then it's probably because Michael Sturgill, after getting the pole, has fallen back to second and is losing ground on Casey Carrington.
Yeah, he's keeping him within an arm's reach, but the 43 just starting to open up that gap a little bit. Last time we checked, it was about 0.3 of a second. Now it's fluctuating between about 35 hundredths and 0.4 of a second. So Carrington opening up by about a car length over the past couple laps. If he keeps up this rate, he'll start to slowly pull away from the 3. Sturgill, though, the only car right now within striking distance of the leader. Mullins a 1.5 seconds back of the lead there in 3rd, and he's got his own battle with Ellison right on his back bumper. So these two cars, big situation there for Carrington. He nearly tagged the outside wall off of 4. He got real lucky. He cut that real fine. It also may have just been the camera angle, but I'm pretty sure that back bumper nearly tagged the wall.
It was close. It was close. I'm sure he didn't even notice it. Honestly, the way he angled and tried to arc that, but you can tell that car is starting to suffer on handling, and Sturgill has reeled him in about a 1/10 here this time by.
Yeah, the 3 machine now starting to reel his way back into Carrington. The gap only about a car length between the two. Sturgill going to take a lower exit here, going to try and jump right in line for that draft. Meanwhile, his teammate Gabe Ellison going to make a move for 3rd. He dives to the inside of Michael Mullins to take away P3 here in turns 3 and 4.
Stan Carnathan was able to complete that pass, but the 27 was not able to complete his pass on Mullins for 3rd, which will put Carnathan up to 6th here after he passed Josh Dillon. Side by side here between Michael Garone and Joseph Plogger, as the battle for the lead continues to heat up here down the backstretch.
Sturgill now right on the back bumper of Carrington. He laid in wait for the better part of about 15 laps, and now has got himself right back to the back bumper of the 43 here. Honestly, something feels right about watching the 43 and the 3 running 1-2 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Feels fitting in a way. Not only have these guys done really good this year, but also just numbers etched in history, not only in this sport, but at this track.
It'll be side by side into turn 3, and it's side by side behind them for what I believe is a 3rd position. So 2 separate battles. The Sim Racer Hub Lexus machines are starting to go on offense, as Sturgill will complete the pass for lap 19.
So Sturgill will re-inherit the lead here. Mullins will fight off the challenge from Gabe Ellison, at least for now. It's a 3-car battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, as Josh Taylor lurking just behind the 27 as well. Michael Mullins trying to bring home a podium finish here. Obviously a long way to go still in this one, and it's going to be a lot longer if he has to watch that mirror every time he goes into the corner with the 27 on his back bumper. As we watch this battle here, that's the 05 of Steck and the 49 of Clinton Sneed going to go by on the inside.
Almost contact. Steck gets pushed up into the wall. They almost touch there going to the entry of 1. I think Sneed came up a little too high. Steck wasn't expecting it and bounces off the outside wall. He's got heavy right side damage.
That thing is doing a little bit of crab walking down the back straightaway. Certainly going to affect the handling. You see it washes up the track, has to get out of the throttle. to try and get that car to corner. It's about to be a very long night for the 05 if he doesn't come down pit road soon.
He already had some problems tagging the wall earlier, which put the 6 of, I believe that was Ruiz that went by. But here we go. Let's watch down the front stretch. The 49's going to come out, almost washes up into him. And then as soon as they cross that threshold out of the quad to hit the entry of 1, just a tag there. 5 gets heavier damage on the right side.
Definitely not how Max Deck wanted tonight to go. Currently running 20th, now with a lot of damage on the right side of that machine, but we stay green, which means he will just have to try and limp that car around for as long as possible before it comes time to come down pit road, because pitting at lap 23 here, I do not think would be a very optimal situation with everyone still staying on track for quite a while longer. Is Ellison now going to take a peek to the inside of Mullins once again for third?
That was a tight one as well. It almost had more contact. The 24 and the 27 have been going back and forth now for about 7 laps. And Mullins has played good defense. There it is, another example off of turn 2. He's defending this well and holding on to the 3rd position. However, while this is all happening, they continue to lose ground to Casey Carrington and Michael Sturgill. It's over a second gap to 2nd place and almost a 2-second gap up there to Sturgill.
Yeah, starting to really spread out at the front with the exception of these two. They pulled away from Josh Taylor just a little bit, but if they continue to fight each other like this, it will allow the 7 to slowly reel them back in. As you see behind them, the rest of the top 10 all kind of strung out single file, a couple car lengths apart. This is truly where the action is happening in the top 10 right now, Mullins and Ellison. The 27 has had some of the best long-run pace of any car in the series so far this season. Does he have something cooked up to get around Mullins, or will the 24 continue to be the excellent defender that he's been through the opening 25 laps?
So over a quarter of the way done here, lap 26 underway. Side by side back here with the 63. He's going to the inside of Plogger for the top 10. So you saw Curtis White. He was pretty conservative on the start of this thing. He let quite a few drivers get out ahead of him. Now he's back to where he started this race in 10th position.
Yeah, and you see Curtis White side by side with Plogger, who started this race just behind him in P11. But behind these two as they are side by side, you see the 91 of Dylan Rosenberg, who's been a man on the move in the early going. Up 9 spots so far. He's almost worked his way into the top 10. And I think he might have a chance to do so here as the more the 9 in the 63 battle, the more it gets the 91 right into the mix.
So Rosenberg, another one of those examples of if you could qualify a little bit better, would you be up here in the top 5 battling? You gotta ask that question. 21st starting spot up to 12th. He has the speed to pass some cars, and based off his lap times, he has the speed to probably be competing for the top 5. He's about a 10th faster than Josh Taylor right now in the 7 car, but I mean, this top 5 is really spread out since we last checked in on it.
Yeah, it is really starting to get stratified, but as everything starts to open up, some things starting to recondense. You know, everything will accordion depending on how well you've saved or how much you want to push the issue. We jump back here to Rosenberg, looking to the inside of Plogger. The 9 a little loose off of turn 2.
So is the 91.
Yeah, both of them got a little sideways. Rosenberg, though, going to once again look to the inside, going to try and drive it in down low. The 9 really fighting the handling on his race car right now.
So these two are teammates. If you haven't guessed it, there with the Evernham number decals, but for every lap that goes by, I'm sure Plogger doesn't want to give up this spot. Loose off of 2 again, holds on to it. Side-by-side drag race down the back stretch. The 91 probably going to have to drive it in a little deep if he wants to clear here, and he will not. Plogger's going to stay to the outside. They come by for lap 31. Still haven't decided who's going to be in the 11th spot.
Yeah, and all this side-by-side battling is letting Curtis White start to slowly slip away. We do know the stage is at lap 45. So this might have an opportunity here for Curtis White to maybe have a little bit more time to hold on to that final point from the stage break. It won't actually be a caution, but it will be marked at lap 45 of who gets stage points. Right now, Curtis White, the last car to hold on to a stage point, as there might be a battle here for fifth. Dan Carnathan gets a run on Josh Taylor. Might look to the inside here now, going to the outside in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I've been watching Stan Carnathan. Last time by, he was a little bit quicker, but not by much. They've actually lost some ground to Gabe Ellison, but if you look at the overall, the average times, Michael Sturgill really dialed it back. He's been reeled back in by Casey Carrington here.
These two continuing to do battle at the front of the field. Sturgill had opened up about a 7/10 of a second lead over Carrington. And now the 43 right back within a car length or two through 1 and 2. These guys continue to, just kind of find a way to one-up each other. Sturgill took the lead in qualifying. Carrington passed him early. Sturgill got him back at lap 19. And now the 43 trying to re-up him once again as Carnathan looks to the inside of Josh Taylor.
Oh, he tagged the apron there. Luckily, Taylor had washed up the track a little bit and had to lift out of the throttle. That opened up the hole for Stan Carnathan to the top 5. But that could have been bad there. You tag that apron, it sends you up half a lane. If Taylor was pinching on the entry of that corner, that could have spelled trouble for the 82.
It absolutely could have. And Josh Taylor's situation inside the top 10 here might get even worse, as the 12 of Josh Dillon was right there. Speaking of right there, Gabe Ellison still on the back bumper of Michael Mullins, trying to find his way on by. What does Ellison have in the tank here to try and get around the 24? Because he has been staring at that Delta logo on the back bumper for the better part of 30 laps now.
About a 10th separating these two in the dirty air there for the 27. It's got to be interfering a little bit here with the tire longevity, but we're about 10 laps short of the halfway point. I would say within those 5 laps of that halfway point, once we cross the line for the stage, you're going to start seeing cars come down pit road, 4 fresh tires, fill up with fuel. If they can make it 45 laps, they're guaranteed 1 stop here to make it to the end. And I feel like right now, based off the fuel numbers and the way mile and a halves have went, they're going to have to save a little bit. We've seen Casey Carrington do that once already this season. I think this is going to be kind of the same strategy.
Yeah, but not to be outdone. We've also seen the 27 really be able to save when he's needed to as well. In the couple races where it's really been fuel heavy, we haven't seen the 3 on track, so curious to see if he also can mimic this. As you see Giroux get by Craig Martin, that is the battle for 15th. Drew will clear, and Casey Carrington now within a 10th of a second of Michael Sturgill up at the front of the field. Got to imagine he's going to look to the inside down the back straightaway. Going to slide back, and he took a look there in 1 and 2. Nothing going.
We get another surge here out of turn 4. Lap 38 about to be underway. Michael Sturgill has led 20 of the 37 complete so far. The rest of those going to Casey Carrington. We've only had 1 lead change so far, 0 cautions. I guess 2 lead changes technically, but Casey Carrington, he allowed Sturgill to lead 1 lap and then went after him on the very next one.
Yeah, and then, Carrington led most of the opening 15, 20 laps. Sturgill got on by, has led about the next 20. And now Carrington trying to repay the favor here, running the apron. Looks to the inside, just doesn't get the run he needs that time around. Sturgill will lead at the line. Less than a car length separating these 2 cars up at the top of the point standings. Or at least have been at different points in the season. And now Carrington looks like he had a really good run through the middle of that corner. Just not enough to stay alongside him on the back straightaway.
So put that points battle back up on your screen here briefly. Carrington 13 points out. Gabriel Ellison 2 spots behind him, but tonight it's probably going to boil down to get this stage win, get the race win. That's how you got to make up points, because the 27 has been really good this season, and I think it's going to be very difficult to make him have an off week.
Yeah, this is maybe as much as you could say he's been off so far, and he's still running in P4 as Carrington's got a nose ahead through the middle of the corner. What will he have off the corner? Nothing going that time around. Sturgill still leads. They'll clear some lap traffic.
Wow.
That route real close between Carrington and the 77 of Kyle Shelton.
Shelton just trying to get out of the way there as he goes a lap down. The 77 down to the apron of the racetrack now in the Lucky Charms Toyota Camry. A lot going on, to say the least, but defense has worked out so far for Michael Sturgill. Now, we watched him play the outside. He's just got to do it 3 more times.
That he does. And I'm also looking in this top 5, Bradley. It looks like Stan Carnathan and Josh Taylor, their duel for 5th is not over yet. You see Taylor reclaims the spot as Carnathan got hung up on the apron a little bit. Might open the door for Josh Dillon to get around on the outside as well.
And a tag on the apron. We watched that earlier where Carnathan drove it down too low. Now he's going to lose another spot here through 3 and 4. It looks like Dillon's going to have the surge on the outside through the quad and probably clear going into 1.
Nice little bit of wordsmanship there, getting the surge on the outside.
Ah, there it is.
The old sponsor right on the hood there for Josh Dillon. With the 12 now in the P6. Carnathan will now try and defend against Sheldon Atkins. And I believe next time by, it'll be 2 laps to go before the stage winner is declared.
Yeah, I think it's at the end of lap 45 is where that's declared. And so 2 to go here as it sits. And taking that line away for the front spot, really loose off the 2.
Boy. What a slide for the 3.
I think that might have
Carrington the high side.
That might have sealed it there for Carrington to get around.
That was big time loose for the 3. However, Sturgill not done yet. They were basically side by side at the line. So this time around, they'll declare the stage winner, and we've got ourselves quite the duel for it.
He's going to try back here on the backstretch, but I think he lost a lot having to run that bottom. Looks like Carrington's going to sneak it away.
Carrington goes low to block the 3 off in the middle of the corner.
Oh,
looks like
he gave the position.
Come down pit road.
I think this is official. I don't think Sturgill got the win. I think you have to complete lap 45. There's so many different rules here with so many different leagues. I'll have to get some clarification on that, but you know, some drivers or some leagues will run that you have to complete the lap, and then there's other leagues that run it. They, oh, we got cars sideways. I think that's Taylor. No, never mind. Oh boy, for 43 there, that was tight.
That was real close. A lot of cars coming down pit lane, a little hot, little sideways, and they're going to try and get down and away here. You see Rosenberg peeling off just as the field is coming in. Everyone got past the stage break and said, all right, time to fuel up, put new tires on it, and let it rip for the second half of this one.
I am going back to read through the rules to see if there's anything there for me to base this off of. But as we go through our first set of green flag pit stops, Michael Mullins is down pit road now. He's going to have a lap lead. Thomas Stokes just behind him. Craig Martin also coming down. Clinton Sneed from the 4th position. He's probably hand the lead back to the 43. But he's not very far ahead. Here comes 3 wide. Sturgill just swiped it away from him.
So Michael Sturgill, by coming down pit road 1 lap earlier, has put himself back in position here at the point. And after all of that work that Carrington did to wrench the lead away from Michael Sturgill, right back, staring at the back bumper of that SimRacerHub.com Lexus. Going to try and find his way back up there. That's got to be frustrating as a driver. You do all that work to finally take the lead away from someone who's been defending you tooth and nail. And then immediately after there's the pit cycle, and you find yourself right behind him again.
So there's no clarification on exactly when. I'm reading the rules right now. So each race will feature a single stage where points will also be awarded to the top 10 drivers. The stage will be roughly at the halfway point of the race. No caution will be thrown at the end of the stage. In the event of a caution near the end of the stage may be concluded prior to pit stops. So there's nothing that really says the end of said lap. I'll have to get clarification from Clinton Steed, but I want to say it's the end of the lap. That's just an educated guess.
It would make sense to me in this case. You know, the race ends at the end of lap 90, the stage ending. Oh, the caution's out. Caution is out. The 77 of Kyle Shelton sideways through the quad oval going into turn 1.
Thought we were going to get our streak started back up here with caution-free races, but going around here on the replay. Did he have help?
It's out of the corner there. I mean, very shallow exit for the 77, but nothing too crazy. Oh, yeah. Big time contact with him in the 05 of Max Deck. The 05 gave him a massive tag to the back bumper. Although the 77 was running, dare I say, a very suboptimal line through it. Such a shallow exit and then flaring up through the quad oval. And it's not overly shocking that the two of them met in the middle, but still heavy damage and probably avoidable.
Oh, we had seen that 77 letting cars by earlier in the race through that portion of the racetrack. And Kyle Shelton has been a little bit off pace here tonight. But he's probably just felt like he should get out of the way, and the 05 wasn't on the same page, also being a lap down. That kind of resets everything, and if guys were in save mode, I know that some drivers were using the clutch here because, okay, we're at a mile and a half. We've seen it a couple times already this season where the halfway point and the fuel is just about the same, you know? I think right now we've kind of changed that over to where these guys could probably make it. I think they'll be in the green for that one stop all the way to the end of this thing.
Yeah, and you know, there is a possibility that maybe a couple cars toward the back of the field could think about trying to throw on fresh tires. You know, it wouldn't make a huge difference. It'd only be about 6 or 7 lap fresher tires probably compared to the rest of the field, but definitely something that someone could do with 3 sets, you know, an opportunity to try and get yourself some sort of advantage over the cars in front of you. But I'd imagine the track position for those up in the front of the field would be too critical to forfeit so recently after they all just came down pit road.
Yeah, it's only 5-6 laps. Some of these drivers actually, you know, just 1 or 2, but there are guys that came in and topped off with fuel. Some drivers came in and took 4 tires. I don't know that that's going to be a huge advantage, you know, just 3 or 4 laps on tires, especially when only 1 or 2 of them were under green. I don't know. These guys practice this place a lot more than I have this week, so maybe they know something that we don't. But with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You're watching the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series live on VSpeed. More coverage is going to continue right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
back here live at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series gets set to go back green. So far, 1 yellow. We've had a multitude of lead changes. Race recap up on top of your screen. The 5 lead changes and our 1 caution where Kyle Shelton and Max Steck get together. A couple laps down each of them, just trying to get out of the way of each other and have some problems there through the quad oval. Race, of course, brought to you by Aspiration Homes, Admin Box, and, well, we got to mention Rapid Fire Pizza. The first Rapid Fire Pizza opened its doors in 2015 in Dayton, Ohio. The idea was simple: make delicious, fast, and affordable pizza. Now in 25 cities across the country, customers love the fresh taste and the speed and the ability to create their own perfect pizza with over 35 different toppings and sauces. Go to www.rapidfiredpizza.com for a location near you. So with that out of the way, Alex, I gotta ask you, this race so far, it's been kind of 2 cars, but now we're reset. Guys aren't saving fuel. What's in store for us when we go back green?
I think we'll see this to be a 3-horse race all of a sudden, with Gabe Ellison now into the mix with Sturgill and Carrington. They'll hit that restart zone, slam onto the gas pedal. Great launch from Sturgill, side by side behind between Carrington and Ellison. The 2 cars, number 1 and number 2 in the point standings, running 2 and 3 on track side by side.
And a lot going on back here in the mid-pack. You can see 3 wide between the 12 of Josh Dillon. Plogger, the 81 also there of Sheldon Atkins. They're going to settle it out. 11 of Thomas Stokes thinks about sticking his nose in there as they come off of turn 4, very loose there in front of him.
Everybody in this mid-pack bobbing and weaving, knowing this is their best chance to try and get positions while everyone's still stacked up. We still see 2x2 through a lot of the middle part of this field. On board with Jose Ruiz as you see more people changing lanes, diving down, looking around for track position. Adkins blocked off by Garone into turn 3.
On board with Sheldon Atkins. He had worked his way up to just about the top 10 here. Now back in the 14th spot. Started up in 2nd tonight. So he only has one way to go back now. And it's up. How long is that going to take, though, with all this traffic in front of him?
Oh, big slide for a second there. I think it was either the back end of Clinton Sneed or Jeff No got a little loose off of 2. Sneed now to the inside of Michael Garone. These 2 cars battling for position just behind the top 10. This is for 11th on track. Plauger into the mix here as well.
Contact there between Craig Martin and Michael Mullins as Mullins takes over the top 5. The 22 stuck on the outside. A little bit different paint scheme here tonight for the 22. Trying to figure out if that's Python scales, maybe?
Whatever it is, you can still tell that this thing, much like the other ones, still got some teeth as the number 22 Volkswagen starts rolling into turn 1 here. I'll tell you what, one thing I really appreciate about the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series, everyone bringing their own manufacturer to the game. You got Chevy, Dodge, Lexus, Volkswagen, Toyota. I mean, we've really got the full array out here tonight.
Yeah, we do. You can see that a little bit of a different look here on the Dodge as well. Going to the inside of Max Steck. That Cinnamon Toast Crunch machine of Tim Bruce. That's I think it's a Charger RT, but I can't quite tell. That's a Chevy. It's a ZL1 Camaro, actually.
Everyone's bringing their own flair to the series, and I honestly really think it's fun to have all these different potential fake manufacturers out here. Not fake, but not in the actual series, but getting the run out here, I think, is a lot of fun. Create some really cool concepts out there. As you see now, the field starting to get a little more single filed out. It's been a few laps since this restart. The 1 side-by-side battle here, Stan Carnathan, Craig Martin. The battle for 8th, Michael Garone lurking in the wings just behind him. The 82 going to try and get it done on the inside. That's where he's felt most comfortable all night long. He continues to go back to the apron to try and get these passes done. The 22 continues to run that outside, trying to use that momentum that you get from coming off the corner high. Really keep the throttle down the front straightaway. And I think he'll be able to get him here through 1 and 2.
Michael Sturgill maintains the lead after this restart. Just under 30 laps to go as the 3 car has about 0.3 of a second. Lots of threes there. Let's come back for lap 63. How about that?
Not too much time left in this one. 2/3 down, a little less than a third of it to go. Sturgill still at the point here. Carrington second, Ellison third. But those 2 cars running second and third right now are cars known to have that long run speed. You see Mullins now maybe looking to the outside of Ellison. Has a nose to the outside. They'll be side by side coming off of turn 4. Mullins going to try and jump his way back into P3 where he's run so much of this race. That side-by-side battle has let Josh Taylor get right into the thick of things as well, running in P5.
Little wiggle there from the 24. Mullins trying to hold on to the 3rd spot. Gabe Ellison. We saw this at the beginning of this race as well. It's kind of wash, rinse, repeat. Drivers going up here challenging each other and then losing ground. And this time, the 27 has company on his back bumper for it as well.
That we do. Josh Taylor could reach out and grab the back bumper of the 27 right now. He's so close to him as they make their way off of 2. Boy, look at how fast they are going here, going down this back straightaway and then into 3. I mean, they are just running door to door right now. Taylor looks to the inside of Ellison. It's been a bad couple laps for the 27. He's fallen from 3rd to 5th. Now Mullins and Taylor have their sights set on trying to reel in the leaders, and Mullins making some ground against Casey Carrington there in 2nd.
Last time by, it's about 0.03 of a second. Not, anything crazy substantial, but if it continues on this trend, he will be at the back bumper of the 43. Of course, Josh Taylor, he's kind of been waiting to turn on these jets. He's been up in the top 10 for, I'd say 99% of the day, with the exception of the green flag pit stops. But here, he's shown kind of a different gear. He's put it on, got by the 27, which, Gabe Ellison was 4th place all the way through that run.
Yeah, he was. And, Ellison worked his way up from outside the top 10 to 4th, and then kind of hit a wall the moment he got behind Mullins. And now finds himself running 5th. As here comes Casey Carrington right to the back bumper of Sturgill, the 43 deciding it's go time. Going to try and put a nose to the outside through the quad oval, almost a bit of contact. Boy, they cut that fine. They both go high. Here comes Mullins to the inside.
This is going to open up the door for a 4-way battle for the lead. 1st through 4th, and even the 27 could get back into this if they get the race in side by side for too long. Mullins to the inside, change for 2nd, maybe a change, 2 for 1 for the 24. He's going to get the lead out of 4.
He is right there, almost door to door was Mullins and Sturgill to the line. I think that might have been Mullins to lead that lap. The 24, though, not done yet. He has got to clear the 3, and I think he'll be able to do that this time by. What a run these past couple laps for the 24 of Michael Mullins. Working his way up from 4th to 1st. Josh Taylor kind of take 3rd place away from Casey Carrington.
So we've seen the top 5 kind of flip-flopped here in the first few, and the contact between Carrington. Hold on to it, Taylor. He held on to it. What a save.
Boy, they really got a piece of each other coming off of turn 4. That was heavy door-to-door contact.
I mean,
got into the grass, so that's, wow.
That's holding on to it, though. That's what Taylor needed to do. Hello.
Man, oh man. Unbelievable stuff. And the battle's not done yet. Carrington and Taylor now have flipped where they're at on track. Taylor up high, Carrington down low. The battle for P3 continues. Taylor takes that spot away for now. Now looks to the inside of Sturgill for P2. Josh Taylor trying to imitate the 24. He'll get it done. Takes away that second spot. Does he have enough in him for one more run toward the leader as Michael Mullins is pulling away with all this battling happening behind him?
Mullins has a 0.7 of a second lead, but Josh Taylor now in clean air might be able to go and reel him in. Track temperature has come down tremendously from where we started at 86 degrees. It's down to 82. Ambient air is stuck at 78 since pretty much the start of this thing, but you got to know this track's starting to rubber up. The bottom doesn't look like it's as good as it was at the start, and everybody's kind of migrated to play defense on the high line. However, colder tires maybe not working quite as well as it did earlier.
Don't look now, but Dylan Rosenberg has entered the scene for this podium running. He started 21st tonight and has just been incrementally working his way up the running order all night long. And with just over 15 laps to go here from Charlotte, Rosenberg going to take a dive in on Sturgill. He'll move up into the 5th position, and you can see the leader from his mirror. He is not all that far away, but especially to 2nd and 3rd, as Taylor and Carrington right in front of him.
So Sturgill, who led the restart of this second half of racing, has fallen back to 6th now. Michael Mullins, the 24, stretches the lead out to over half a second. Josh Taylor looking to get a podium. I tell you, if you're Carrington right now, and you've got the guy that you're trying to beat in the points right behind you, the pressure is on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he came into this race just a handful of points back of Ellison. So any position that you can finish ahead of him will be key in trying to reel him in. You don't have a huge advantage over him right now with him being directly on the back bumper. Carrington, I'm sure, going to be a little more tenacious defending that 3rd spot than he would be otherwise, knowing that is the car he is battling for the points lead with. Rosenberg just behind them as well. His next time by, only 15 laps to go. Mullins leads with Josh Taylor and Casey Carrington hot on his heels.
So we continue to watch that lead. It's stretching back out, trending more towards 0.7 of a second. We'll be at 3/4 of a full second here momentarily, but out of turn 2, Mullins gets a little loose, and look at Taylor starting to reel him back in. A little bit different lines here, Alex.
Yeah, there is definitely a bit of a couple different ways you can get around this track. And I think we're seeing that on display here to full effect. One thing I'm keeping an eye on is that right now, the 2 cars in best position to win this race, obviously, Michael Mullins, our leader, Josh Taylor, who runs 2nd. Neither of these guys are particularly high in the point standings. Mullins, I believe, is 10th, Taylor 15th. So this could be a huge day for both of them to make up a lot of ground as Ellison looks to the inside of Carrington there off of turn 4. Side by side at the line, Rosenberg directly behind him as well. And they continue to keep Josh Taylor from pulling too far away. The 7 not really being able to make any headway to the back bumper of the 24.
Oh, sideways for Ellison.
Sideways.
All that ground he just made up, gone.
What happened to Gabe Ellison? It looked like that thing just pitched sideways down the straightaway.
Did he have help from the 43?
Yeah, he did. Oh, maybe a bit of neck code. I don't even know if the 2 actually got into each other. At least from that angle, it's tough to tell, but it might have been that there was a little bit of separation still, and iRacing deemed it to be contact anyway. Might have been some contact, may have been some neck code. Either way, the 27 got kicked out of the groove. It was a big-time save from Ellison, who's holding on to the 5th spot right now. And I'm sure he's frustrated and going to try and get back to Carrington, but Rosenberg capitalizes on both of them. He's now up to 3rd with a chance to take 2nd away from Josh Taylor.
10 laps to go when they cross the stripe. This pass for 2nd spot. The SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Since 2009, SimRacerHub.com has been the premier destination for iRacing League scoring. Our mission is to provide you with the most comprehensive and user-friendly tools to manage your league schedules, results, points, and stats. Plus, our highly active Discord community is always ready to assist you with any questions or issues. Ready to take the plunge? Create a league today and join our community of passionate sim racers. Find out more at SimRacerHub.com. Second position changes over Dylan Rosenberg. At third spot, Josh Taylor falls all the way back to fifth. Here comes Gabe Ellison.
Yeah, Taylor got loose off of turn 2 a lap ago, and everyone was hot on his heels, so that one mistake cost him 3 spots as Rosenberg, Carrington, and Ellison all went by. They'll have to try and hold on to P5 here. Here goes Ellison to the outside of Carrington for the 4th spot now. Or sorry, for the 3rd spot. Rosenberg just up ahead of him. Here comes the 27. Looks like he'll clear Carrington. Will he ever run on the 91? And will there be any time left for Rosenberg to try and mount a challenge against Michael Mullins, who continues to pull away? Now a 1.4 second lead.
Yeah, Mullins is in another area code at this point. I'd have a hard time saying that anybody can catch up to him unless we have a yellow. I don't think it's possible. I mean, based off these lap times, he's in clean air. He's about a 10th faster than everyone, but Gabe Ellison was a little bit quicker that last time by, so we have to wait and see. If he can get clear of Rosenberg here through 3 and 4, that would help tremendously. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and also Casey Carrington not going to let the 27 get away if he can help it. He needs those points in the worst way as this battle for the championship lead continues. Rosenberg right now putting together a really quality run today. He's up 19 spots. A P2 would be a stellar finish after starting 21st tonight. So we jump a little farther back. That is Michael Sturgill, you see, all the way down to P8. He's fallen back behind Michael Garone, and after leading 48 laps tonight, it just seems like the pace has gone away from the 3 machine.
Well, this is something else to think about. I mentioned earlier that I didn't think it would make that big of a difference, but 39 laps on the stint for Sturgill, 33 on the stint for Mullins. He came back in and took that second set of tires, and just, you know, that 6-lap difference, even though only maybe 2 or 3 were under green, we had just hit green flag pit stops. Some guys elected to stay out, felt like the tires, you know, hadn't even got the heat cycle yet, and lo and behold, Michael Mullins, who did come in for that second set, is pulled away almost a full 2 seconds, 5 laps to go.
Oh, a little bit of a wall clip there for Mullins as he went in the 1 and 2, but to the point you were just making, Bradley, I remember musing right around that caution. I was wondering if anyone was going to come try and get fresh tires, even though it hadn't been a huge change. What I would not have anticipated was someone who was running as high up in the order as Mullins was to do so. Bit of a surprise there, but clearly it's worked out for the 24. Those fresher tires giving him just the amount of the edge that he needed to start pulling away from this field when it mattered most. And now as everything continues to go green, as it has for much of this SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series, it looks like Mullins can continue to just run his line, hit his marks, and he'll be home free. Rosenberg, though, cannot say the same. He is on an absolute scrap right now with the 27 of Gabe Ellison. These two cars battling for second. The battle far from over.
And this is for the 11th position as Thomas Stokes goes by Daniel Giroux. Jeff No on the back bumper of the 11, trying to follow him through here for the 12th spot. The 11 almost clears. We hit 3 to go. That'll be a position gain for the 11 of Stokes. Here comes the 55.
Daniel Giroux trying to run that high line. He's got Curtis directly behind him. Stokes, though, clears the whole lot. No looks to the inside of the 92 once again here in 3 and 4. The battle for 12th. Giroux up high. Jeff No down low.
So a battle for the 9th spot here with 2 laps left.
Maybe a bit of contact between Ruiz and Garone, and almost looks like there might be a little bit of right front damage on that 66. It's a little tough to tell.
Going to take the white flag this time around. Final time around, Charlotte Motor Speedway in race number 6. Mullins takes the white flag. Dylan Rosenberg and Gabe Ellison, 1st through 3rd. Gabe Ellison going to be able to get around Dylan Rosenberg for the 2nd spot. He's going to try the high line. Michael Mullins is in another area code. 2 seconds ahead of this. To the outside for the 27. He's going to battle on the high line into 3 and 4. Pinch down on the entry. Out of turn 4 for the final time, though. Michael Mullins is going to get the victory here tonight. Drag race, Rosenberg holds on for second.
Phenomenal call on pit road during the caution from Michael Mullins. Put him in position to take that lead away, and he will go on to get the win, his first of the season, leading 25 laps, the last 25 laps of this one. What a drive for Dylan Rosenberg, going from 21st to 2nd. And then Gabe Ellison, not too shabby himself, from 12th to 3rd tonight. A lot of big movers inside that podium group.
A little handshakes from the 81, the 11, a big handshake. The 63,
Yeah.
All the teammates here to congratulate Mullins on his victory.
Might have been less of a handshake with Thomas Stokes and more of, a big chest bump. Ended up turning him. And he'll burn it down here on the front straightaway. Incredible win there from 24.
Post-race interviews with your top 3, post-race coverage, and your final results coming up right after this. You're watching the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series live on VSpeed. We'll be back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series has concluded its 90 laps. It was a fun one. One caution here tonight, a lot of clean racing, and a shake-up here in the standings as well. Final results up on your screen. It was Michael Mullins who started in row number 2. He'll take over the lead in the later half of this race. He will be victorious over Dylan Rosenberg and Gabe Ellison, the top 3. Casey Carrington trying to make up points. He just got that gap a little bit bigger after tonight. He's going to finish in 4th. Stan Carnathan in the 82 is going to get a top 5 after we saw Josh Taylor up there in the top 3. He falls back to 6th. Michael Sturgill, kind of the big name of the day here, making his appearance back after missing 2 races. He'll finish in 7th after starting on the pole. Then it's Sheldon Atkins, Jose Ruiz, and Michael Garone for the top 10. Got a shout out there for a couple of these drivers keeping their top 10 streaks alive. Jose Ruiz and I believe Dylan Rosenberg, both on a 6 streak here. All 6 weeks in the top 10.
It's truly some impressive stuff. Thomas Stokes going to bring it home 11th night in the 11 machine. Jeff No just behind them, up 6 spots to B12. Curtis White finishes 13th tonight. Daniel Giroux 14th. Craig Martin finishing 15th this evening. Chris Waddle, 16th, up 7 spots. Clinton Sneed finishing in the 17th position tonight, with Joseph Plauger, Tim Bruce, and Max Steck rounding out the top 20.
Josh Dillon will finish 21st. Kyle Shelton. These cars all one or more laps down from Tim Bruce back, and then Nathan we were pronouncing that Rogie, correct?
That's what I've been saying, yeah.
Okay. I think that's we had a talk there post race one time, and that's how he said it. We were correct on that one. So unfortunate for him, though. He made about let's say 2/3 of this race here, and unfortunately he's out of it here tonight. But that brings us to our post race interviews. Third place down on pit road with Alex Gagnon. Gabe Ellison brings it home in the 27 machine.
Yeah, catching up here with third place finisher Gabe Ellison. Gabe, another podium finish for you tonight, and you'll continue to add to your points lead, I'd imagine, coming out of tonight. Give us your thoughts overall on how this race went from start to finish. It looks like you passed a lot of cars early and then kind of got trapped right around that third, fourth spot most of the evening.
Yeah, I think it went pretty good. Bad qualifying. I showed up late and didn't get to get a good feel of the car, and bad qualifying effort on my part. But in the long run, I felt pretty good. I think I got to fourth and kind of stayed in fourth that first bit, and then I decided to stay out after that yellow because I think I had 2 or 3 laps on it. But clearly that was enough to make a difference because Mullins and Rosenberg cut right through us. I almost got Rosenberg back at the end, but I mean, they were clearly on the better tire strategy. So, huge props to them for making the right call. And, sometimes you just pick the wrong strategy.
And it's bound to happen. There's been a couple of races this season where you've definitely been the one to pick the right strategy. Unfortunately, just on the wrong side of that coin tonight. But I mean, still a great start to the year for you. Obviously, you came in tonight with the points lead. A podium finish here tonight will set you up really well. And I'm looking at this this calendar, and we're about halfway through almost at this point. We're nearing the midway point of the regular season. How are you feeling so far as this series has gone on, knowing week in, week out, you've got podium pace, race winning pace? I got to imagine that is something that you take a lot of pride in.
Oh yeah, for sure. It feels good so far. You're looking at the schedule. I think it's a pretty nice, diverse schedule. Should be competitive at all these tracks. I don't know about Watkins Glen, but the rest of the ovals, should be pretty solid. So, yeah, I mean, it does give me a lot of confidence. We've had a bit of a variety of tracks so far, and I've managed to do well on most of them. So I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
And I got to ask you, we were watching you on board as you had a run against the 91 down the back straightaway that last lap. Is there anything you could have done differently to try and get him at the line?
Yeah, I think I got a little happy on the throttle in 3 and 4. I thought I had to pick it up a little earlier to try to nose him across the finish line. I just got too early and got tight and had to get back out. And then I was wrecking loose when I got back on it again. So, I think I just overcooked the entry a little bit. I got a little too happy that he gave me the top, and then I just blew it. So I think that move was definitely on. I just didn't execute.
Well, some nights are like that, but still a great run for you tonight, Gabe. While you're up here, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, as always, huge thanks to Clinton Sneed and Casey Carrington for putting both the leagues on, and a huge thanks to you guys doing the broadcast.
Alrighty, well, Gabe, thank you so much for joining us up here in the booth tonight. It's been a pleasure watching you compete, hearing you up here in the booth with us, and hopefully we get to talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
Third place finisher here tonight, Gabe Ellison, and I think Alex Gagnon is moving down pit road. A couple more stalls, he's going to catch up. Actually, quite a few more stalls because you got to go all the way to the end of the pit road to find this guy, Dylan Rosenberg.
A little bit of a virtual hike here tonight.
Yeah.
But we're catching up with second place finisher Dylan Rosenberg, who almost pulled off the first challenge tonight. Started 21st, made his way all the way up to P2. Dylan, Congrats on the run, first of all, but tell us a little bit about your night. It seemed like you were making your way through the field no matter what part of the race it was in, and nearly got all the way to the front.
Yeah, I kind of screwed myself with qualifying because I waited a little too long and I went out with like 2 minutes to go, which is enough to make 2 laps here. But of course, I wrecked off a two on the quali lap and I had to go back to the pits and didn't have enough time to put down a competitive lap. So, whatever. So that whole first run was about saving fuel just to make sure we could make it to the halfway point, which ended up not being a big deal at all, anyways. And I was trying to pick off some cars and save some tire. I got up to I think about 11th or 12th before the tires really started to fall off the cliff, and we made our pit stops. And I was at that point, I was just committed to maintaining track position, trying to make gains on guys as best I could, and whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And then we had that caution, and that really changed things. Who would have thought that 3 laps on tires would have made that big a difference, huh?
Yeah, it was certainly a surprise to us up here in the booth. We were talking that like maybe someone would try it if they were farther back in the field, which fit the billing for where you were at perfectly. But it seems like you and the 24 both decided to try and get tires there, and that definitely turned out to be the right play. What was it like in those closing laps, battling with cars that had qualified up front, but with you having the slightly fresher tires? Was that something that you felt you could really, drive past them, or were you still mindful of the fact that they were only a couple laps fresher, and if you weren't careful, they would maybe equalize with them?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, the tires they do eventually get to the point where they equalize if you treat them right. Obviously, those guys up front were racing really hard, so they were just compounding the problem. And I made a really conscious effort to just um, not let the tires slip from under me. Just try to keep the car going straight, maintain lap time, and just make slow gains on the guys in front of me. And then we were like 5 cars under a blanket for a bit. That was pretty wild. And then with like 10 to go or whatever it was, Gabe and Casey kind of got into it, and I went 3 wide in the middle down the back. That was pretty sweet. Um, and then Josh, I think he might have burnt his stuff up. I believe he pit with us as well, but he kind of fell off a cliff there towards the end. He might have went a little too hard. But I mean, P2 was a great night. I literally couldn't be any happier. This has been a dream start to the season.
And that was going to lead you. Actually, it's going to lead us into the final question I had for you, which is: you are one of 2 drivers to go through the opening 6 races with a top 10 in each of the opening 6 events. Obviously, that win's still on the horizon for you and the 91 team, but got to imagine you're feeling pretty good with how this season started, knowing that week in, week out, you've got some really good pace.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. I guess I'm decent with these cars. I'm not great. As far as the whole showdown thing is concerned, the All American Cup Series, those guys mop the floor with my butt, and I'm like on the a fringe top 10. But some strategy gets me up into contention there. But here, I I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a different paint scheme. I usually run a Chevy. I got the Dodge to go with my teammate Daniel Giroux and PTP Racing. And I mean, we just got it going on right now. It's 3 top 5s, I think. And like you said, 6 top 10s. I mean, this is awesome. Closing the gap to the points. Well, maybe not, because I don't think I got any stage points. But even still, I'm solidifying my position in points. This is great.
Yeah, it's been a really, really quality start to the season for you. It's been a pleasure to watch you up here in the booth. It's been a ton of fun. While you're up here, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out tonight?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my wonderful girlfriend, Amanda, who I know is watching. She puts up with me doing this week in and week out, and she knows how much work I put in. Like sure, it's a game on one hand, but on the other, like, I'm not going to do this if I don't think I can be competitive. And, I think we're all kind of in the same situation. We all want to be the best we can be. And I take a lot of pride in, doing well at this. And also big thanks to Aspiration Homes, Rapid Fire Pista, the league admins. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. uh, yeah, you know how it is. You guys
Oh,
at
yeah.
VBox, and I can't wait for next week.
Well, we're excited to see what you bring to the table next week when this series makes their way to Michigan. We'll be excited for it. Congrats on the P2 finish tonight, Dylan, and hopefully we get to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely, can't wait to run it back next week.
Second place finisher Dylan Rosenberg in the number 91, keeping that top 10 streak alive. And that finally brings us to a new winner this season. Michael Mullins in the number 24 is in victory lane here with us. And Michael, I got to say, you finally did it. You had it there at Auto Club. Problems on pit road. You've been in contention at a number of other venues. Just want to say, when you finish well, you finish well. You've got 2 top 5s, but now you add 1 to the win column. How does it feel?
No, you're not lying. I heavily agree. It's been a rough stint for sure. The spinning on pit road of Fontana was rough. The fuel mileage issues at Vegas were rough, which I finally fixed today. I'm sure you all were questioning it when it happened. The TV coming unplugged at Rockingham last week was unfortunate. It's been a lot of bad luck, aside from, I'd say Atlanta was probably the only one I feel like I fully executed on. Today was definitely a little bit of good luck. I feel like I kind of earned some of that luck after the misfortunes in the other races. But man, I did not expect a race win today. I'm pretty ecstatic over this.
Yeah, I mean, even us up in the booth, we were watching you and a few others come down for that caution we had right after the halfway point, and we kind of questioned it that you were up in the higher running order, and you ended up back, I believe it was 8th or 9th position after hitting pit road. Did you expect three laps on tires to make that big of a difference out here?
I can't say I did. I pit last of the top 4 runners. Sturgill pit 2 laps earlier, Carrington and Ellison pit 1 lap earlier, and then I pit on lap 47. So when the caution came out, I didn't even have temp in the tires yet. I think they were at like 130 or 140 all around. So I was kind of committed to just doing the opposite of what the leaders did. And then they all stayed out, so I pit, and I lined up 8th, and it was one of those, like, man, I don't know if this is the right choice, and just kind of had to get it out of my head, like, well, we're here now. And then as the run went on, the difference in tires just never went away. You know, I got to 4th and 3rd, and then I was behind Sturgill and Carrington, and as I'm mentally trying to set up where to go, suddenly they both go high into 1, and I was like, oh, well, here's the window. And thankfully was able to get that move done pretty quick, because I feel like I would have overheated the tires having to work them over, and that would have put it back in their favor. But no, I figured it would help. I can't say I expected it to help the way it did, but it certainly was the best case scenario, and I'm really happy about it.
Pulled out to over a 2-second lead there in the closing laps. You kind of checked into a new time zone, 25 laps led. You started in the second row. It kind of fell back a little bit, up and down day, but ultimately you came out here, you sealed the deal, you got a victory. Anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, of course, it's a fantastic day. I mean, want to thank all of my teammates at RPM, Sheldon, Curtis, and Thomas. They both, or the 3 of them, all helped give me advice at the last second in qualifying. Without any information from them, I probably would have started farther back than I did. So I greatly appreciate them, because they ultimately helped me set up the day. You know, I want to thank my dad. I'm pretty sure he's watching. At least he said he would. I hope he did. I'll have to give him a call later. You know, I'm hoping he's seeing it, because I know I've been trying to share this interest and this passion with him of mine. I want to thank all of our sponsors: Aspiration Homes, Sim Racer Hub, V-Speed. You know, it's really cool to have a good production effort for a series like this that ultimately is more of a hobby, I would say, and to allow everyone to enjoy it. It's really cool for everyone that helps. And then obviously you two, Alex and Brad, for helping out and calling the race today. I can't wait to watch it later.
Well, we hope to see you there, and hopefully you've subscribed to the channel, because we appreciate every view that we get, and we appreciate you guys. Without you, we don't have a job, so thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Hey, y'all take care. Have a good night.
Michael Mullins victorious here tonight at race number 6, Charlotte Motor Speedway. And that brings us to our closing opinions, maybe some things. We're at the halfway point here, Alex. It's shaping up. We're solidifying points. We're starting to see the cream rise to the top. What's your take on this one?
It's been a fun, honestly, tonight was a fun race. The opening 6 races have been a fun bit to the season. I mean, 4 races with 1 caution or less, 3 with none, and the most we've had was Daytona, what, like 3? I mean, this has been an unbelievably clean series to this point. And because of that, we've seen some great strategy, some great fuel saving and tire saving efforts, a lot of back and forth with short run versus long run speed. Everything's been on display in a way that's been a real joy to watch, and not something initially that I was anticipating filling in with you here in the booth. But now being here for 6 races, it's been a real joy, and I'm glad that I've been here week in, week out to watch them, because these guys put on a show each and every week.
Going to Michigan Speedway next week, September 17th. Hope you can join us for that as well. We're going to bring the graphic. You know, very few racetracks that I have in my favorites book. Auto Club is right there next to Michigan. Very similar racetracks, but tell you, the fuel strategy that they played here tonight, and they've played previously in Atlanta and Las Vegas, it means nothing here when it's over 2 miles.
Yeah, I mean, when you start hitting speeds over 200 miles an hour, a lot of the fuel save goes out the window. Otherwise, you're going to get run over in a hurry if you try doing anything other than getting up to full speed on these straightaways. This track is not for the faint of heart. Probably the fastest track, actually, in stock car racing at the moment. I mean, with the restrictor plates for Daytona and Talladega, but none here for Michigan. This is where you'll see some of the fastest speeds we'll see all season long.
If you can join us September 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, hope you can tune in tomorrow night. We have Racing Revolution going live. I think we have some other shows. Eddie Smith is always putting on something. I mean, he's live days in with Y at this point. So, plenty of racing left to go around here on V-Speed. But we hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage of the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. For everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker in the background doing all the things he does. Our other producers, Logan Threlkeld, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith. This is Bradley Cooper on behalf of Alex Gagnon telling you to have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.